Today we play golf.
Let me show you how we do it in the pros.
Welcome to Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
I never miss with the 7-iron.
A conversation with some of the most interesting innovators and entrepreneurs behind the biggest names in golf.
My friends were the golf clubs. I lived on the golf course. I lived on the driving range.
From pro talk
You should learn something from each and every single round you play in.
to fun from on and off the green.
Why would you play golf if you don't play it for money?
Just let me put the ball in the hole.
This is Behind the Golf Brand Podcast with Paul Liberatore. Behind the Golf Brand Podcast is sponsored by On Point, the revolutionary three-dimensional domed golf ball marker. On Point provides alignment recognition as small as a degree of inaccuracy from the planned course of the putt face angle. Endorsed by Jim Furyk, U.S. Open champion and 17-time PGA Tour winner. On Point alignment technology has been proven to increase putting performance and help lower your score. Visit onpointgolf.us and be sure to use code GA10 for a 10% discount. On Point, make more putts.
What's up, guys? Paul from Golfers Authority. Welcome to Behind the Golf Brand Podcast. Today we're on episode 29, and we're going to a land down under to see my friend David Blake, aka Blakey, aka Golfer Rules and Questions on Instagram. And he's been a friend of mine. I don't know how I've been friends for probably a year and a half, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say a year and a half.
But we just dork around a lot. We call each other. I'll call him in Australia via Instagram, be like, "G'day, mate," and he'll be like, "What do you want?" But I'll make a bunch of like Crocodile Dundee jokes too. But without further ado, today is my good friend David Blake. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Paul. Great to be here. Obviously, as you said, we always have a few chats.
This guy cracks me up all the time, you guys. Like we just laugh. I don't even know. Like it looks like you're.
We're hardly talking
how's
golf.
Switzerland?
Actually, this is my beautiful. Not where I live, but this is my beautiful home country. It's
That is not
smaller.
Australia. You don't have places that look like that in Australia.
This is New Zealand.
Oh, that's right. You're from New Zealand. Same thing.
Yeah, originally from New Zealand, living in Melbourne now. Same thing. Yeah, it's like
How does that make you mad? Where's the kangaroos jumping behind you? Like, are you going across?
It's like America and Cuba are the same thing.
Is Australia as big as America?
It's about
Is it the same size?
85%.
Really? Holy crap!
Yeah,
I've never been to Australia.
but there's only like
New
26.
Zealand's as big as what? How big is New Zealand? Big as California?
No, it's as big as Japan.
Oh crap! I didn't know it was that big. I would know. You're so far away, man. You're like on the other side of the ocean.
Actually, how big is California compared to New Zealand?
I don't know. It's big, but they got some dumbass rules there, so I don't really know. It's pretty big.
Thank you to all those Californians out there listening to this show. We love you as well.
Dude, trust me, Californians don't like California. Nobody likes California. Like seriously, people like you just live there because the beach is nice, but their laws are weird. Like
I've only been to about 4 states.
What states have you been to in the United States?
New York.
More.
Actually, I've been to Pennsylvania.
You've been to Las Vegas?
Yes, Nevada. I've been to Nevada. California.
Yeah.
Texas. Went to Austin. I went to Austin and when was that? 2 years ago for the WGC match play.
Did you visit the Alamo?
No, I didn't.
Did you check out the basement in the Alamo? No,
someone got shot there, didn't they?
I don't know. Pee Wee Herman was there in a movie once. He was looking for the basement of the Alamo.
Was he looking
It
for some
doesn't
kids
exist.
as well?
I was seeing I was testing your American history.
Oh, right. I see.
So what are you known for, Mr.
What
Blake?
am I known for? Having a funny accent. For you, it's having a funny accent.
Listen, you guys, this guy has like a ton of followers on Instagram, which I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, he just knows a bunch of stuff about golf rules. Actually, he has that's how I found him. I started following him probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, honestly, he's probably one of the foremost experts on the golf rules. Like, you would never think that, but it's true. Like, he knows every rule in and out. And but what he does, which I think is so cool, is he'll take, something from the week that, from a tournament or something and be like, oh, look, well, this is Patrick Reed breaking a rule. Which rule did he break? And then people like comment like crazy. Like, how many people comment on your post? Which you get like over 100, right?
Yeah. It depends. It depends. So, some of them I only get like 4 or 5, and then others, especially if it's really like on the,
recent, like someone
recent, but also, if it's Patrick Reed or it's Bryson DeChambeau or it's Tiger Woods, you're getting 100 comments, 150 comments. So it's a big deal when those players are playing.
But it's so cool because, I don't know, honestly, like everyone kind of knows the rules, but they're not quite sure unless you play in like tournaments or something like that. But to see I think what is really cool about what you did is you bridge the gap, right? Because you're just like, look, these guys break the rules all the time. Like, did you know rule? And then you explain what the rule is, which I think is kind of cool. Like, oh, them moving a big boulder for Tiger, can they do that? That's one of his videos. And it's just it's very interactive in a way, even though it's on Instagram. But then I know you've been doing it on YouTube too for a while as well. But what is your background? Like, how did you get into rules?
Yeah, well, I've always been a golfer, just like you, always a golfer, love golf. And, I never really thought, I'm a rules guy, but I hate not knowing about a sport. So every sport that I watch, I want to know all the rules, basically. I want to know everything about it. And especially if I play it, we talked about this last week, cricket. Cricket's not that big in the States, but it's huge elsewhere, especially in the, around India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Australia, New Zealand, big fans of cricket. And when I was a kid, I was playing it. I loved it. And I just had to learn everything about it, know all the rules. It's the same with golf. Just had to know everything because I didn't want anyone coming up and saying, oh, that's, you're doing something wrong. I hate that. You probably hate that as well, being a lawyer.
I'm never wrong. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So you need to know. You need to know the rules.
Yeah, I got books. I'm like, oh, let me check the law real quick.
It's a similar thing.
So, like, when did you start golfing then? Like early on, like everybody else?
About 11. I always played rugby and cricket, and then I found I was getting a little bit small for rugby and golf. You can play all the time by yourself. If you don't have any friends, it's a great game. If you have some friends,
that's why you played, right? Because you know.
Yeah, exactly. But if you have friends, it's a great game. If you don't have friends, it's a great game. Everyone should take up golf.
Yeah, I agree. So you started playing golf as a kid, and then did you play? I don't know how school works there in New Zealand. Is it like high school, college, as it is here in the United States?
Yeah. We don't have this sort of middle school thing, but basically, 13 you go to high school. When you're 18, you go to college. And we don't really have a college system for NCAA play for a college team or whatever. You just join your club, your local club. And
is that by city? Is that how the clubs work, or is it by how does that work?
Literally, the club will be owned. It will own itself. Basically, it's not a private club. It's not owned by John Goodman or whoever,
John Goodman is just big to play any kind of sport.
I should say just Joe Bloggs. That's a generic name.
That's not a New Zealand name. Give me a real New Zealand name.
No, it's not owned by Paul Liberatore.
You're like, it is not owned by the cast of
Lord of the Rings.
It's
not owned by Peter Jackson.
Okay, Peter Jackson can't play any sports. But anyway.
It's owned by the whole cast, So it's a club. It's like It has a president, it has a captain. It's a club, and you go and play against another club. And the other club could be across the fence at a different course. It could be 5 Ks down the road. It could be 50 Ks down the road. Ks are kilometers. They represent 1.6 Ks is a mile.
Is that another rule of math?
I just gotta make sure, those Americans with your imperial measurements.
So you started playing golf because I don't want to put everybody to sleep doing math equations with Blakey. And then, tell everybody, like, what is your day job? Your day job is actually golf, right?
Yeah, I'm actually in rules and handicapping for the national organisation of golf in Australia. So essentially the same thing as the USGA. I work for Golf Australia in Australia. And so not only is it my job, but I also actually really enjoy the rules of golf. Don't ask me why. I really can't comprehend, but it's basically just the fact that I like knowing how the sport is played under the certain rules, and they can change and I'll change with them. But at the end of the day, and this is what I tell people on social media, I'm just a messenger. I just tell you what's written in the book. You might like it or not like it. That's fine.
Yeah, you're not the judge. You're just the guy telling you, hey, that's a rule, by the way, because you didn't know it. So,
but I started on social media with the Instagram essentially because I looked at these videos that other accounts had posted, the real funny ones. And I was like, people just don't know the rules. They have no idea. So how about I just take that video and say, this is actually what the rule is, and just started like that. But
it's so good. It's so good. I mean, because I learned, it's one thing to say, here's the rule, black and white, right? And then you say, oh, here's a drawing of what the rule looks like. But when you actually see it in play, and I mean, you don't just take stuff from the tour, you take stuff people send in that's popular on the internet, people being dumb at the golf course, whatever it might be. And then you are teaching off of that, which honestly, that's how I remember the rules. I'm like, oh, that's a rule. I think that's brilliant. Just brilliant when you started. So what year did you start Instagram then?
2015. It was about the start of February 2015. I understand that you're trying to hide it, but I need to know it now. And the whole idea was I started with questions and answers because that's competitive, mate. People
it is.
People love to, ask the question, answer the question.
You get people on there who think they know everything that follow you, and they're like, meh, 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 and you're like, actually, no.
Yes, I get a lot of that. Absolutely a lot. And I don't mind. I have no problem if people want to challenge me, and they may be right, but most of the time they're not. And the worst thing is they think they're right when they haven't done any research. That is like, this is like a bloke coming into your law firm and saying, Paul, you gave me this advice, but you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Terry from down the street told me that you're wrong, so I believe, he told me this. And that's exactly what I get on my page. People come and say, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
They do. And especially in the last 2 years, because the rules have changed slightly.
Oh yeah.
Like I just posted one this morning. This is 2 years since the 1st of January, 2019. Posted one this morning. Some guy said, someone is lying to me or lied to me because they said I could ground my club in a bunker now. I was like, that rule, it's never been the rule. It's, someone's just absolutely told you the wrong thing.
So
it's nuts, the misinformation, the fake news out there regarding
fake news of golf rules. Well, that's
Did you see that one the other day?
What?
It was viral. This bloke teed it up in the teeing area, then picked the ball up, teed it right beside the hole, putted it in, and said that under rule 6.1, blah, 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 that you could just take a 2-shot penalty and play it from anywhere. And so basically you just have 3 on every hole. And everyone tagged me in it. And I was
Everybody
like, no.
tagged you? You're like, what the
I was
heck?
like, no, that's not the rule. Yeah, that's the way it works. Everyone tagged me. So I had to post it. And they still do. And they're like, oh, is this right? I'm like, no.
You're like, that's not even close, man.
Not even. You got to start playing the hole within the teeing area. If that was actually a rule, someone actually would have done it by now.
Dude, I would be on the PGA Tour if that was the rule.
Exactly. Everyone would
seriously a 2-stroke penalty every hole. So okay, it's whatever. That's probably
it was a par 3. It's like, oh, I'll just shoot 54. Oh, well, that's interesting. Everyone shot 54.
Yay! Those are the Australian rules. See, in the United States, we have different rules.
I get that. I get that one as well.
Do they really? Do people say that?
Yes. Yep. They say, oh, the rules are different over here. I'm like, no, they're not. They're written by the same people.
So are the rules in Australia the same as the rules in the United States?
They are exactly the same.
Who makes the rules then? USGA and the
USGA,
yeah,
and the RNA,
yeah, and then together, what happens? And Australia follows those rules then too?
Yeah. And we have a representative on that committee that makes those rules. And Golf New Zealand has a representative, and, you know, Golf Japan and Golf Korea and Golf China, blah, blah, blah. They all have representatives on the committee, and they all sit down together, and they have have lots of bottles of red, and they also come up with the rules.
They smoke their pipes.
They smoke their pipes.
They all look like Sherlock Holmes.
That's right. Oh, I'll do it. You know, we should take that penalty away for someone causing their ball to move on the putting green.
Do you think they're going to start adding new rules? Because, you know, now, I mean, look at Bryson. Bryson's ball so damn far. You know, do you think they're going to start trying to curb that? He hasn't won that much.
I hope so.
He wins a lot, but he still chokes. So, I mean, I love Bryson. Don't get me wrong. I wish I could hit the ball 1,000 yards. But
so do
you ever see that though? Do you ever think that would happen where they would change the rules in a way to curb the performance of players, or just
that they shouldn't curb the performance of Bryson? You know, if you want to go out there and hit the gym, looking at you, Paul. If you want to go out there and hit the gym,
look like me,
and, you know, get yourself beefed up and hit the ball another 50 yards in the air, good on you. Like, well done. Yeah, that's awesome. If you want to go and hit the ball, you know, practice, and try and work on hitting the ball as straight as possible, good on you. That's fantastic. The rules aren't going to stop that. What they should stop is they should stop how far the driver can actually hit the ball, which they do already a little bit with the 430 cc. I think it's 430. The cc and the trampoline face. But they haven't really brought back the ball yet. For me, all you got to do is make the ball spin more. All you got to do is make the dimples deeper, or whatever it is that causes the ball to spin more. Because if the ball spins more, people aren't going to try and hit it as far as they can, because it's going to be further offline. So just make the ball spin more.
Control, yeah.
And, you know, that's what that guy in the background behind you, that's what he had to play with. He had to play with balls that spun a lot, and, you know, if you're not hitting it well, you're just trying to find the fairway.
The RNA will have a video or something boring and be like, "Oh, here's the rule." But I mean, you're the only person who really kind of shows the cause and effect, you know, of real players playing, which, I mean, it's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing, you know. Once I started. You know, as I said, like the first 9 months, it was just this text on Instagram. And then I started getting tagged in these videos, and I was starting to work out that I had enough content that I could post basically every day. And, you know, it's already happened. It's not like it's happening in front of our eyes. It's already happened. I'm just asking a question that relates or somehow relates to that video or photo. And then the answer is below that. And as you said before, like, you know, it's tour videos, and there's lots of funny stuff and interesting stuff on the tour, but it's also, Paul Liberatore sending in a video.
Does the PGA ever, like, have you ever gotten letters from the PGA saying, don't share our stuff?
No, but they block me. So they just go on Instagram and they find their code for that video, and they just go, we want that blocked.
You can do that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They block that. On YouTube, most of the time they don't block it,
right?
Yeah, they just copyright it and take the
moolah,
the money.
I'm sorry,
but you know, it's indifferent for me. I don't worry. I'm not too worried.
You're just having fun. I mean, you're just doing it. You're trying to teach people. I mean,
I'm educating people. That's all I'm doing, is just educating.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're doing it for any other reason. It's part of your day job. Number one is to educate people on it, and then what you've done is you've bridged the gap between something that's kind of boring, right? Because rules and nobody wants to learn, to making it fun and funny, because we want to see the pros break the rules, and we want to see funny stuff on the internet. And so if you can bridge the two together, that's what you've done. And then you educate the person, like, hey, this is the actual rule. So you're on Instagram, right? Which is rules and questions, and then you're on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah.
Now, are you posting like daily on YouTube?
No, I post maybe twice a week. Obviously, we've got our podcast, Roscoe, and I have our podcast, the Golf Rules Question podcast. We'll post that, and we might post like a tour video or an education video or something like that. So we're nearly at 3,000, almost catching you, but we'll have caught you.
Yeah,
by
but you have like 1 billion minutes of watch time, man. So, so you started Instagram first, then you went. Did you start your YouTube channel at the same time, or no? You did that later on.
No, probably 3 years ago or 4 years ago. But I didn't really put any effort into my YouTube, and I only started putting effort into my YouTube in about February this year.
So, tell me about your podcast. When did you start that?
So I started that in August with my good friend Roscoe, or Ross Flanagan. He already has a couple of podcasts. He has one called My Love of Golf that he's been doing for 2 years. It's cool. Basically just about golf. He just talks to people. He's actually got really good sort of interviewing skills in that regard. So and then he does another one called The Mental Mastery with Jamie Glazier, and Jamie's basically a sports psychologist type. So just
that's kind of cool.
Through
the mental. Yeah. It's about the mental game then.
Yeah. And that ranks quite highly on Apple Podcasts. So he's got the My Love of Golf, the Mental Mastery, and then we played together at the start of the year, and he's like, if you want to start a podcast, and I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I've got all this other stuff on, but he was convincing enough, and it's heaps of fun. Like doing this kind of thing, this podcasting. I didn't realize it's so much fun. Like you're just talking crap, and then if someone listens, you're like, hopefully they get something out of it. Yeah,
I learned a lot about people I didn't know. I forgot you were from New Zealand. I always tease you because you're from Australia, but you're not. But
same part of the world.
Yeah, someplace I want to come visit.
New Zealand's better, but
what made you come to Australia then?
There were more jobs.
Was it a chick?
There's more job opportunities in Australia, basically.
Were you an extra in Lord of the Rings?
No, but that would have been awesome.
That would have been so awesome. Lord of the Rings.
I mean, they filmed like 8 movies or whatever, didn't they? Five movies, whatever it was. Because he's got 3.
That was like 20 years ago, though. So you're probably
got
like
2 Hobbit.
You're probably tall as a Hobbit back then.
Still looks like New Zealand,
What's the rule where if you hit a bird in the air?
Oh,
because there's a lot of videos on that. I've seen it on your.
There was one at Sawgrass on the 18th hole, and there was one at Punta Mita. Is that how you say it? Punta Mita.
Yeah,
in Mexico. It's play it as it lies. Actually, there was one at the
side of a bird.
No, well, yeah.
You gotta play it where it lies.
A dead bird is a loose impediment. So
then what do? You have to move the bird?
Right. You try and hit the ball, or you could take a penalty drop. It matters a lot. Rules matter a lot. I know that people might find them boring and they might hate them, but the rules matter a lot, because if you're playing by this certain set of guidelines and then another person just decides that they don't want to play by that set of guidelines, so that gives them an advantage.
And you're playing a sport with with yourself, right? So, you're playing against other people, but if you're not playing all by the same rules, then how is that even fair, right?
Exactly. And if we talk about this in terms of someone's life or livelihood or career, if you miss out on getting your PGA Tour card, or you're going to qualifying school to get your Corn Ferry Tour card, or you're playing on the Corn Ferry Tour and you miss out on that top 25 spot by $10, are you going to be annoyed? And then
it's you eating or not that night. Right?
And then you find out that you're number 26, and then you find out that number 25 beat you in a tournament 6 weeks ago when he caused his ball to move, and didn't replace it or whatever. And, that one shot was $100, and they got their card at number 25 and you missed out at number 26. How annoyed, your career, you could have been on the PGA Tour and now you got to stay on the Corn Ferry Tour and who knows where you go from there.
So how does the rules work then during a tournament? Are you guys watching, like, to make sure people are they like? How is it like? What in your normal day job when you're doing the tourneys? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so we're sitting in the carts, and a lot of our role is looking after pace of play. We just got to make sure that people get round within the days, the sunlight of the day. They tee off at 7. We've got to get them around before 6, before it gets dark, or before 5:30, or before 7, whatever the daylight hours are. You just got to get them through. And, there are some really slow players out there, and it's really annoying that they play so slow. They don't really need to play so slow. And then in terms of watching, if a golfer's like hits their ball near me, I might stay there and watch, but I won't try and
run over their ball on the cart. I'm like, what's up, asshole? You think it's funny, the ball at me?
The amount of times that I've been looking at players over this way, right? Yeah. I'm looking at players over this way, and then I see someone hit a shot, and I'm like, I get a call over the radio, and it's like, oh, you need, can you come to hole, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, see that there's no one playing. So I'm like, sweet, I'm good to go. I drive, and then there's someone playing over there, and they all stop, and they look at me, and they give me the biggest death stare, and I'm like, oh, no. And then I just race off. I'm like...
So have you met a lot of tour players then?
Yeah. Like in terms of met, they wouldn't remember who I was, obviously, because they see committee members all the time. But if I start working on the PGA Tour, familiar faces, you'll hear, like, Bryson probably knows the referees firsthand because he sees them all the time, and he asks the rules questions and stuff like that. The tournament directors.
I like Bryson. Bryson's cool shit.
The tournament directors on the PGA Tour, the players would all know them because, when they come to a tournament, these are the guys that are always there and always there to provide knowledge on the rules and the actual outcome. So, if you start that familiar face, you definitely, like, when I started working on the PGA Tour of Australasia, no one knew who I was, and they were all testing me at the start as to how good my rules knowledge was. After they found out that I was actually quite good, they stopped testing me, and they just went and got on with it.
They're like, have you seen my Instagram? I know my rules.
A few of them have, and I don't push that on anyone. It's not like, I'm an authority.
No, I know. I'm just joking around.
I'm not a golfer's authority on the rules, a rules authority. But I like the rules, and I do have some knowledge, and the knowledge is probably better than 99.9% of people out there.
So, like, some of your most popular videos though are like Phil and Ricky and Tiger, right? I mean, you get like 500,000 views on YouTube. That's crazy high. I mean, yeah, it's really awesome if you think about it, you guys, because what he does is he'll take the video from the tournament that maybe during the day, right? I've seen that before too, where what was it? A couple months ago, there was something like that where there was a big argument and they're trying to figure out something with Bryson, I think it was. And you'd post it that same day, and you're just like, and then kind of an explanation of what was going on, like afterwards, right? Saying this is what the rule is, and that got how many views? I mean, it was like
250,000.
Yeah, in a day. It was crazy. I mean, I know. I just think what you're doing is really special. I think it's cool. And really,
I
this is my friend, you guys. Out. Like, we are friends. We joke around all the time. We're always like talking crap to each other. I mean, that's just, we work together. This guy's awesome. I like this guy so much. I just let him stay in my garage, right?
That's right.
I don't let any homeless person do that. And this is before my garage was nice. This is when my garage looked like crap, right?
Was an actual garage.
It had like a car in here. Now it doesn't have it. It has an arcade machine and a TV. I mean, you probably wouldn't even move out.
It's a really nice garage.
I know. You're jealous. I know you are. Someday when I get more views on YouTube, I'll leave. Visit.
This will be your holiday house.
It would be my holiday house. This could be a holiday house. This could be. I imagine if this is LA, I could rent this thing out for reals. I know people do that. So, what is your plans then for next year with golf rules and questions and everything you're doing?
Yeah, just growing the YouTube. As I said, it's the number one objective is just to educate people on the rules of golf. I want to create a beginner's course, like a beginner's course on the rules of golf, so that people can go through that, and it's going to give them some real good base knowledge, especially if they're beginners to the game of golf. And and then probably try and look at doing an intermediate course as well. And obviously people can always find me on social media. They can always email me or, go on YouTube and ask me questions basically at any time. I mean,
yeah, you're really accessible. I mean, he's not like some guy who just kind of says, oh, here's the rule, guys, blah, 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 I'm cool. What he does is, people are always pinging him and saying, what about this? What about that? I have a question. He's always very open to talking to people.
Yeah, maybe I should go down the membership route. But until I do that, I'm accessible and brandable as well. So, if anyone wants to stick their brand on my forehead, I'll go for it.
You could do that. You could send him some packages, but he'll never open it because he never gets the mail. So don't waste your time.
Just send cash. Cash is king. I'll always open cash.
But it's U.S. currency. You can't really spend that money in Australia. I'm sorry.
Well, that means that I'll spend it when I'm over in the US. I've always
2023.
That's right.
I know. I wish this guy would have come out. We would have had so much fun. We were playing all these.
I will.
Remember that? We were all these plans. We were going to go play golf, and I was
going to create content,
and just goof around. And I would purposely break rules to make him mad, and then he'd be like tackling me, and that's the wrong rule. You broke the rule, mate. You're not allowed to kick the ball. And I'm like, yes, you are. So, well, thanks for being on the show today. I appreciate it, my friend. My long lost.
No, it's awesome.
Friend.
We finally got it done.
I know we've been talking about this for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So go check your mail, okay? Because honestly, it hurts my feelings.
I appreciate it. I will go and check it out.
No, you won't. I know you won't. Last time I talked to you, you're like, I'm on the way to the golf course. And then last time I talked to you, you're like, I'm driving my kangaroo car and I'm picking up some furniture or whatever. So you never go.
I'm going to kill some crocodiles.
That's what you're doing. You're like, oh, you think that's a knife? And then you pulled out this big knife to open up a box. See? Well, thanks for being on the show. I'm sorry that I had to do a bunch of bad impressions today for everybody. I promise I'll never do that again unless I'm talking to somebody from England. But be sure to check out Blakey on golf rules _questions, as well as on YouTube, which is the same. And I don't know. He's a good dude, as you can tell. He's fun to hang out with. And thanks for being on the show.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Paul.
All right. You take care, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Cheers, mate.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Behind the Golf Brand Podcast.
You're going to beat me at golf?
Stay connected on and off the show by visiting golfersauthority.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Golf is always more fun when you win.
Stay out of the beach and see you on the green.